Hi everyone, I'm Jonny,
I'm Joe.
and we're here with Yennis Cheung, who fans of Bond will recognise as the floating dragon cashier from Skyfall. But she's also here to talk to us a little bit about a really interesting new project called Dysphoria. So, hi Yennis, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, you're very welcome. Would you start off by just telling us a bit about this new project?
Oh, do you not want me to talk about Bond first?
We saved Bond till later.
Oh, okay, cool. So basically, I think after Skyfall, I've been doing quite a lot of screenwriting as well as still acting. So right now, I'm actually on Mission Impossible 7. So I was very lucky. It's not a big role, but I've got the job. My agent called me up and say, "Would you like to do it?" Because everyone was in lockdown, and my agent was like, "Well, you can fly to Abu Dhabi to film Mission Impossible," and I was like, "Okay, I'll choose to fly to Abu Dhabi." So we've been filming in Abu Dhabi, and now we're filming in London. So I still have a couple of weeks on it, and so during being an actress, I mean, especially being a Chinese actress, I always wanted to do comedy, but it seems like majority of my work is art drama. So I think 2018, well, actually 2016, I dragged my best friend, Shinfei Chance, to write comedy together. And we sort of shot like a web series called Chinese Girls in London. And then we did public screening and everyone loved it. And I thought, okay, I need to grab some industry people to come and have a look. And then BBC came, Warner Brothers came, and then we had 2 offers. And then we went with BBC, and then it became Chinese Burn. And it's a sitcom, half-an-hour sitcom, and it came out like end of 2018, 2019, early 2019. So it was on BBC 3 first, and then on BBC 1. So my screenwriting career just set off then, and then I've been writing. Now I'm writing drama, and still working with Rough Cut, which is Asher Teller, that the executive producer for Chinese Burn. We're still writing for them, and then during the lockdown, I sort of think that, okay, I'm getting older. I really want to do a project that I really wanted to do. And it was about mental health, and it's about East and Southeast Asian women, immigrant women that coming over to a foreign country and their struggle. And I was reluctant to actually wanted to write about this topic. It's because I think a lot of people wouldn't want to touch it because it's about mental health. People automatically, especially commissioner, they would think that is too dark. And also it's because it's about Chinese immigrant, and sometimes they will feel like, well, is it relevant? So I never really wanted to do. And also the story, it's very closely related to my experience, because I was diagnosed with complex trauma and PTSD 6 years ago. And I'm sorry, it's getting heavy now, isn't it? So I reluctant to talk about it for a long time is just because of my work. Like, can you imagine if I go on film set and when I fill in the form, what illness that I have, if I sort of tell the production company or the insurance, I might not get insured. I might not be able to, since Skyfall, I've done death race, and I have hold a real gun and blank bullets and stuff like that. I might lose jobs, basically. So for me, I had so much to lose. So I was always reluctant to write anything too close to my experience or about mental health. But people don't actually realize that I gone on and do other films and horror films and action films and or TV drama like Call the Midwife and Silent Witness. And it never really, my mental health did not stop me working. But I think, again, I feel that, the lockdown has made me realize that. I think it's also because, the whole Black Lives Matter and the Me Too movement and everything sort of come out. And I think I'm trying to do these projects talk about my experience, it's not because it's trendy. I think because of what happened have given me confidence that, hey, I shouldn't be ashamed or feeling guilty about if I have a mental disorder. It's just because my mental disorder came from my upbringing, from my childhood, and there's quite a lot of trauma in it. I shouldn't be worried about speaking up, especially for people like, I wanted to do this is also because majority of my good friends are immigrant women, and there's a lot of stuff that we scared to talk about. But at the same time, in the script, that this short film that I wrote, it's dark, and then got witty dialogue to lighten the things up a little bit for easy digestion. And then it's got like a heartwarming ending for people to, come into my perspective, but take something away, a good message away as well. So that's it.
What is it? I know kind of Asian is a bit, people tend to be a bit more reserved, don't they, in Asia than Britain, say, personality wise. Do you think there's more of a stigma in where you grew up in Hong Kong about mental health, and people talk about it less than they even do in Britain?
Oh, we don't have if you look at people talk about mental health, they normally talk about people that are heroin addicts. Or mental health is not really something that we even talk about. Or people think it's not a real thing. It's not a real illness, basically. And if you see people like a junkie and getting high on the street and asking for money, and my parents or my grandparents were used to say, they are crazy, they have mental health problem, don't go there. But if you tell, so my dad, I believe my dad have depression all his life, but it's not recognized. But if you go to the doctor or, tell your friends and family saying that I feel really depressed, they would just say, well, don't be depressed, be happy. They would just think that it's his personality, but that is not a mental illness. So in Hong Kong back then, and even though now, right now it's getting a little bit better, but still far, far off from the West. It's mental illness is just not something that we talk about. We're not even, Chinese people is not even very good at talking about feelings. We don't say I love you to our parents all the time, and in the Western culture, when you see your friends, you hug them. Like, it's not something like that for us. So it's I think it's generational and it's historical that Chinese people, because of cultural revolution, that our feelings is quite suppressed, till now. But it's moving forward, but a lot slower compared to the West.
I guess the men in China are probably even more closed off than the women when it comes to talking about it, aren't they then?
Oh, yeah, and I often feel sorry for them, because especially in China, if you're a man, you can't be weak. If you tell people you have a mental health problem, they think you're being weak. And then for the women, there's people that can be very superstitious and saying, you're possessed by evil spirits. That's why you feel depressed. So it's for us, it's got a lot of cultural stigmas that we need to get rid of and let a lot more women know that it's okay to talk about it.
Yeah.
How much of your experience moving to the UK has fed into this project? It's
a lot, because see, this is the thing that, like, even though for me to talk about it's sometimes still bring up anxiety, but I'm okay now. Like, before it was really bad, because once I've got diagnosed with complex trauma and PTSD, I remember the very first year, it manifests to the point that I was taking the psychiatric drugs that make me more suicidal. So I did attempt suicide twice. And one of the time is I see a car coming, I finish work, and then I walk down the street. I don't have any idea where I'm walking. I was just so low to the point that thinking I'm such a burden for everyone. And I see a car driving really fast, and I just jumped out the road. The car hit me. This is like action film. I flew, no bruises, nothing. stood up like, wow, I'm like Iron Lady. It was nothing happening to me, not even a scratch. Obviously, I joke about it. It's because like I feel like I'm a survivor now, and I don't feel like, you know, I need to, you know, sort of feel too guilty about my mistake. I don't know, is it a mistake? I don't even know how to describe it, but you know, I experienced. I went off a tantrum. What was the question?
I was just asking about your experience moving to the UK and how much of that fed into the film, into your project.
Yeah, a lot. And it's not just my experience, it's my friends' experience. And so the film, when I talk about the attempt, like the suicide attempt, it's because the film, it's about this woman attempt to kill. She was about to take her own life, and she saw another girl took her own life earlier than her. And then she's having this imagination talking to this dead person. And then this reflection is basically what was happening to me when the car hit me. And it's that few seconds of imagination and reflection that let me wrote this script. So yeah, and in the script, I've added on a lot of, you know, cultural, you know, how East and Southeast Asian women mentality in the script. So the script had a lot of me and a lot of my friends, basically. So it's I don't think people can actually say that this is a fiction. Like, well, it's a fiction, but you know, people can't come to me and say, oh, this is not real and whatever. But because I have added on, and also my mom's experience. My mom's immigrant, my grandmom's immigrant. So yeah, the whole film, it's so close to me.
When did you come to the UK then, Yennis?
I came here 15 years ago.
So you were a child, yeah?
No, no, I was adult. Like I don't want to say age.
Well, I obviously thought you're younger than what you are.
Yeah, I'm actually old. I'm probably older than I look, you know. But yeah, I was early 20s.
Early 20s.
Yeah.
And what was life like growing up in Hong Kong then, compared to how it would have been growing up in a Western country, do you think?
I mean, looking back, I think Hong Kong have a lot of good things about Hong Kong, and we were British colony, and then we had a lot of freedom. But on the other hand, I think Hong Kong is such a small place, and I think moving to UK has broadened my horizons about, I didn't know I can actually write script, because in Hong Kong or in China, even though I was a singer-songwriter back then in Hong Kong, I feel like a lot of the things as a woman I shouldn't be saying, because in our culture, the man always the head of family. So certain things I can't really have my opinion. But after I came over here, I realized that I can actually voice my opinion, you know. So it's something that I'm grateful for, you know. And I think when my sitcom Chinese, like when my sitcom Chinese Band came out, there's still a lot of noise about, oh, Chinese women shouldn't behave like that, you know, this is fake. But what they didn't know, it was actually coming from our experience. So, you know, our experiences, like me and my best friend. And so, but on the other hand, it gave, like, you know, after I came over here, that's a lot more opportunity for me as a woman. So I'm very, very grateful for that. Yeah.
So when you're here in the UK, and then how long is it then until Bond?
It was 2014, I think. You know, back then,
So,
so I came over here and I was still doing music, and I never thought of, I mean, I acted in a few films in Hong Kong, because once you're a teen pop singer, they automatically put you in TV and film, you know, you don't have to cast for it, you know. So, but I never really take acting seriously until when I got the job for Skyfall, I was still doing modeling. So I was doing a lot more commercials and still photography, and I was modeling because I was making quite good money just doing modeling. And I never thought, and then my agent said, I think I will do like acting casting like once a year. And then that year it was Skyfall. And I remember going to the casting, all the Asian actresses were wearing, our traditional Chinese Cheung Sam, the dress, the qipao, that's like, and then they will be like really made up. And then, because this is Bond, they all know that if you want to be a Bond girl, you need to be glam. I know I look quite glam today, but I swear, I swear to God, when I went into that casting room, because I thought, listen, I'm not gonna get it, because the criteria of how she needs to look like, it's also a list, and I wasn't an actress, and I just thought I'm not going to get this, and so I wear t-shirt and jeans, like hardly any makeup, just put on my lipstick and walked in. And Debbie McWilliam, she's the casting director. She was lovely. She was so lovely. And then I sort of did improvisation with her a few times, different scenario. And then I remember my agent called me, I think 2 weeks after or 1 week after, I can't remember, but I remember I screamed down the phone because I just think that's not possible. Like I literally screamed so loud my neighbor can't hear me, and yeah, so it's such a great memory.
So that was that the audition process? You had to turn up with lots of other Asian women?
Yeah, they actually, I think Skyfall originally, I know this much, that they were originally going to film in Shanghai. So, but for some reason, I think, don't quote me, but for some reason, they didn't film in China just because censorship.
Right, okay, yeah.
But they already seen girls for my role in Shanghai, many of them. And then they came over here to actually do the casting. So they've seen loads of people. And then when my agent said that I got the job, I was like, and I remember Sam Mendes put in a note saying that, yeah, I really like her. She's a great actress. And I was like, seriously? Because I always liked Sam Mendes' work. I remember going on set the first time when we met. I don't know why I did that. Sometimes when you see people you admire, you became an idiot.
Like us two now.
Yeah.
No, I'm nobody. I remember walking to Tim, and then he's like, Yennis, and I'm like, I literally do bow. I was bowing, and I was like, Jesus, what am I doing? And I can't stop myself bowing, and then you become an idiot. It's just like really embarrassing. And then and then it started on set, and I know some of the guys, they originally they were going to film in Shanghai. They flew some of the actors over here, that when we were filming in Pinewood Studio. So yeah.
So what was your ambitions as a kid then? Was it to do the pop singing?
No, I was a classical opera singer. So
you've got, is there any end to your talents? Acting, modeling, singing?
Okay, I can tell you this. I was such a great swimmer, I nearly swam for Hong Kong.
Oh, blimey.
So I never, I think my career was quite, I kind of let it flow, and my parents are Beijing opera performers, so they have to do kung fu, like, martial arts, acrobats, and acting and singing, everything on stage. Because back then, when you don't have TV and film, that's what they do. They perform on stage. So when I was younger, I was always singing, always dancing. And I think back to what I was telling people, that the trauma is, you know, I was trying to protect my family, because saying this, I don't really want them to feel upset or make the family, you know, feel like they're, you know, I'm shaming them. I was born in China, and then me and my parents moved to Hong Kong. We were really, really poor. And because they didn't have money to hire a nanny, we literally have £2 when we moved to Hong Kong, like equivalent like £2 when we moved to Hong Kong. So I was locked in a house for 13 years, you know, by myself, and I was have to like looking after myself. So that sort of things like create a lot of trauma. And my dad was constantly in depression, so there was a lot of abuse things like going on at home. But it's not like I'm trying to shame my family. I just think that it's time to actually tell my experience, so other people think that it's not something that you need to feel ashamed of. So I think because my parents are Beijing opera performers, that I sort of like, I was already singing, dancing and acting, and I was on my own for such a long time as a child. So I always have imaginary friends, and I will act out. I remember and also the horrible thing is that my first movie, it's the sequel of First Blood. I think I was only 2 years old. I'm not supposed to be watching that kind of film, right?
Yeah.
And then the second film, it's Apocalypse Now.
I was going to ask you about, I know you mentioned kind of censorship in Hong Kong. Do you remember James Bond as a kid? Was it on the telly? And do you remember it?
No, it was not on telly. It was on the cinema. It was in the cinema. But I know my dad watches it, but I never really like go there and watch it with my dad. I think because Stallone is fine, because that's just fighting. Apocalypse Now is fine because only people dying. But with Bond, there's too many girls and sex and all of that.
It's the time before we leave for lesson number 3.
Absolutely. There's no sense in going off half-cocked.
That's why he never, you know, he never like taken me to the cinema to watch Bond. I think I sort of like starting to know about James Bond is after I grew up, and they were replayed on like English channel. So that's how I know about James Bond.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you get much chance for interactions with Daniel Craig when you shot your scenes, or before or after?
I did actually, because my scene is actually supposed to be longer. But I think because that day, the set designer forgot to cut the door, so I couldn't come out. I supposed to come out.
Oh, all right.
I supposed to come out, and then so Sam sort of got the other actor to say the rest of my lines, which is, I remember at that point I was like, I'm really gutted. What the hell? Like in my heart, I was blaming the set designer why he didn't cut the door for me to come out. Now I'm giving my lines to other people. No, I'm joking. It's fine. Like, yeah. So I remember, look, Daniel Craig is such a big star. Like, he doesn't need to actually, when Sam was doing my close up, he doesn't have to be in front of me and giving me the lines. He can get his stand-in to do it. But he was really nice. He stayed the whole time giving me his lines, you know, just helping me. And so yeah, he just lovely. He was lovely to work with.
What's out of all the things you've done, then what if you kind of, is there one thing you want to concentrate now on? Directing, swimming, writing, modeling, singing?
Dolphin. I will say that I think the reason that I especially wanted to direct this short film, it's because I was the one that, you know, wanted to show audience my perspective. So I think it's very important that I need to bring my own vision out for the film. But I'm open. I still think acting is having acting role is really challenging, and I still enjoy the process very much. But I think writing and directing is a complete different ball game. I'm saying that is because I don't think people understand as a scriptwriter how much effort and how long the process is. You know, because my psychology background, I understand that, you know, if you want a longer satisfaction, you will have to put in so much hard work. For example, if you study a degree for like 7 years, and then once you get the degree, the satisfaction, it lasts so much longer. As an actor, you get the job, you prep the script, being challenging, and you do the shoots, and then that's finished. So the process is not as long as when you actually writing a TV drama or writing a script. That's, you need to build a world, you need to build a character, you need to have so many things, that it's such a long process. And you need to work with the producer, you need to work with the director. As a director, you need to bring the vision out from the script. And I think that is a new challenge for me. So if you say that, what do I prefer? At this moment, yeah, I have to say I prefer writing script, you know, and creating and building a world. And directing is still very new to me, even though I've directed the web series, and then I've directed our last comedy TV pilot. But it's still for me, it's still a learning process, and it's still very new. But for me, once I've done it, it gives me such a long satisfaction period, and I really enjoyed it.
So when's it coming out? How can people watch it?
So we're still at the funding stage, and we have an Indiegogo link, and people can go there and donate, and part of the funding is going to charity. One is Women's Aid, and one is Wish charity. So they support women that have suffered domestic violence and help them with seek mental health, help. So we have also, because of the story, we've been having private investors came in and sort of support us. And so that's quite a few private investor has put money in the short film. So we're still short of money, but we are determined to get this made. We're filming in a week and 2 days. So
Cool.
so we're filming a week and 2 days. And once we finish the short film, then we'll go into post-production, and then hopefully we're gonna go to more festivals, so let more people see it. And so hopefully we can use this to sort of spread the words, that people don't have to worry about talking about mental health.
And I guess you're hoping that it will get shown in Southeast Asia. Do you think, what are the chances of that, do you think?
Well, because the script, actually, we have Mandarin speaking in the script as well as English. And I think that I do have connection in China, and I do know that they actually like to see Chinese people, that how they live in a foreign country. So I think there's a possibility that we can actually show it to China and Singapore or Thailand, or all this kind of area. It really depends on the festival run and how we can find a way to distribute it. And we also there's a possibility that we will team up with sort of mental health charities, and see how we're going to get more people to watch this short film, so we can raise awareness as well.
And we think this is going to do really, really well. And if it does, what's next for Yenis? What's happening in the future?
Future. I'm a quite open-minded person, and I don't actually set a goal for myself. I'm actually in the middle of, I'm undergoing my forensic psychology master's. So I still have 1 year to go, and after that I probably will go on studying my PhD. So when I was doing Skyfall, I'm already studying my psychology degree. So yeah, so I did my psychology degree like part-time, so it took me 6 years to finish it, and then now I'm doing and then I took a year off and not studying, and then I went back to study my master's. So I think in the future I just want to keep on learning and study my PhD, and then keep on writing script, keep on acting, and hopefully I can direct some more exciting projects, you know.
Maybe a Bond film one day. First female Bond director.
I don't. Well, wow. That is a good thing. That's thinking. I like that. I like that. Yeah, hopefully, and I mean, but maybe next day I'm gonna wake up and say, hey, I want to become a farmer, you know, and that's also okay. Like, so I'm quite open, regardless.
Yeah. And so you're calling on a bit of support for the short film, aren't you? What do people need to do to support you?
Do you mind if I introduce you my colleague? She's the production coordinator for this short film, and she's also an actress, and she's been in Doctor Who. And Rebecca Yeo, can you come in and help me to talk about? This is Rebecca Yeo. This
Hi,
is
Rebecca.
Joe. Hi, Joe. Hi, Jonny.
Hello.
Nice to meet you.
Hi, nice to meet you.
I'm sorry, I'm not a Bond girl, but
Oh,
It's okay.
that's
not
all
all
right.
the Bond girl.
Yeah, no.
So what do people need to do to support your project? What are you asking?
So we'd love for everyone to go onto our Indiegogo link, Dysphoria. So if you type in Indiegogo Dysphoria, it will come up. Dysphoria short film, it will come up, and we have perks that you can buy. You can either do a donation or a contribution. So with a donation, you just buy yourself something. Instead of having coffee, you put this money into our film. So they start at £5. Perks, that's perks as well, and they go up all the way to, what have we got, 250, where you get an executive producer credit on our film. But honestly, from £5 to £10, £10 is a shout out, then £25 to get a poster and a private link to view. So you can just keep going depending, but we'd love everyone to just click on the link, go to the film, and if the themes resonate with you, which I'm sure they do with everyone because it's a tough time, then please just put in something.
You forgot about the Bond one, the Bond picture.
I forgot the Bond picture.
Oh yeah, cool.
Yeah, talked about it already. So it would be lovely if Bond fans can actually go. We've got a special perk. It's a £50 perk, and we've got Yennis, Skyfall girl, a specially signed autographed picture.
And what are the two charities that you're saying? It's two, isn't it? Two charities that the film's supporting?
So it's Wish and Women's Aid. And there's specific charities that we chose because one supports women who are anti, domestic violence, and the other one is Wish, which is mental health, supporting mental health and raising awareness for it.
Okay, great. And yeah, thanks. I wish you all the success with the film.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you so much, Joe, and thank you for helping.
You're welcome.
You've been helping us, spread the word as well.
Yeah,
so,
well, mental health is something I'm very passionate about as well. So I jumped at the chance to do that. And so when you say short film, how long is a short film?
So it's about 10 to 15 minutes.
Oh, right, that's short. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's that short because I think a lot of festival as well. They kind of, I think people attention span is getting shorter and shorter and shorter.
Yeah.
So
sure.
the story is getting shorter and shorter and shorter. But that's also very challenging for a screenwriter, which is I like, if I can tell a good story in such a short amount of time, a limited amount of time, that's a challenge that I wanted to take as well. So.
I would like to add something actually, and I'm just throwing it in because I can, because this is the Bond fan club. So if they choose the perk and we have the name, and if you let us know, if you ask your Bond fans to, when they buy the perk for Yennis's photo, she will address it a personal address and write their name.
Okay, cool.
But this is only
Excellent.
I'm sure they'd like that.
one of the time to do it.
And we'll post the link to so for anyone who wants to pledge anything underneath this video.
Yeah, just tell them, once they've bought that particular perk, to make sure they let you know, and then you can let us know.
Of course.
Great. All right. Thank you very much, ladies. Been great talking to you, and I wish you best of luck.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much. Thank you.
Cheers.
Bye.
Bye
Take
bye.
care.